All right, good morning. Today is Tuesday, the 21st day of April, 2020. I have 9 articles here I want to go over um, with you all this morning. It's just some things that I see and makes me shake my head a little bit. So, the first one here, the New York Post here, NYPD boss Dermo, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Shea warns criminals are taking advantage of a coronavirus release. If you haven't heard, a lot of places are releasing inmates from jail for fear of them getting the coronavirus. So, this is from April 15th. So, it says here some jailbirds are taking advantage of the coronavirus pandemic by seeking early release. NYPD's top cop warned Wednesday. More than 1,500 inmates were released from prison as of Friday, and hundreds more are on their way out. Like any good thing, I think people are taking advantage of the situation. The commissioner said, "Good day, New York. We still need to keep violent criminals in jail." Shea mentioned 28-year-old Christopher Ransom, the man charged with the murder of slain officer Brian Simonson, whose defense attorneys asked for early release Tuesday in Queens criminal court due to heightened health risks from coronavirus. There has to be a whole equation here that we look at public safety. We have to look at the offense committed. We look at the individual asking for release. Advocate groups are now asking for everyone to be released. Let's see. I support taking a look at the entire equation. We have to remain humane. Who do we have that has minimal impacts? We've had some really scary circumstances in the last week. A man who was cut free despite being locked up for setting fire to his girlfriend's apartment door and who threatened the woman once out. There are people that believe no one should be in jail, and some of those very same people that believe that stated that 6 months ago or a year ago are now using the compassionate release to advocate for everyone getting out of jail. I think everyone has to be honest with what's going on. So, right here you got the NYPD Commissioner saying, hey, you go letting these guys out, they're going to take advantage of that. Okay? So, let's see what happens. See this article here. This was in the news just before the last article. Florida man freed from jail over coronavirus allegedly murdered someone the next day. Big surprise. Florida man released from jail last month to help limit coronavirus outbreaks in county lockups was arrested again Monday, accused of murdering a man the day after his release. Joseph Edwards Williams was facing drug charges when he and 163 other inmates considered low-level offenders were sprung from Hillsborough County Jail on March 19th. Citing the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, authorities believe Williams was the trigger man who fatally shot a man the next day in the Progress Village area. Williams was arrested on a warrant Monday in Gibsonton. Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Cronister slammed Williams, claiming he took advantage of the administrative order to free inmates amid the coronavirus pandemic to commit crimes. As a result, I call on the state attorney to prosecute this defendant to the fullest extent of the law. Williams was arraigned via video appearance Tuesday and held on more than a $250,000 bond. Right, so, allegedly, this guy goes out and, murders someone the next day. Took advantage of the situation. Okay, so then here's another article. Okay, New York City Mayor Bill DeBlasio is shocked that released criminals are committing more crimes. Gee, who would have thought? New York City Mayor Bill DeBlasio said Monday it is unconscionable that criminals released early from prison over coronavirus fears would commit new crimes. I think it's unconscionable, just on a human level, that folks were shown mercy, and this is what some of them have done, de Blasio told reporters during a briefing Monday. According to the New York Post, the mayor elected to release more than 1,400 city inmates as part of the state's prison break over concerns that the virus would ravage prisons and further the spread of the infectious disease. De Blasio's comments follow news from over the weekend that at least 50 inmates who were released early have reoffended and landed back in jail, with some already getting readmitted into society again. We do see some recidivism. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have not seen a huge amount, but any amount is obviously troubling, he said. We're going to just keep buckling down on it, make sure there's close monitoring and supervision to the maximum step possible, and the NYPD is going to keep doing what they're doing. I mean, come on. What do you think was going to happen? I just can't imagine. What did you think was going to happen? You're going to let these criminals out of jail and they're just going to become saints? Come on. Yeah, all right. So another article I want to share is the OLakes. OLakes has caved to political correctness. OLakes removes American Indian illustration from its packaging. After, I think it was 92 years, they are removing the American Indian woman illustration on their packaging. It was on its packaging since 1928. And it says here, as Land O'Lakes looks toward our 100th anniversary, we've recognized we need packaging that reflects the foundation and heart of our company culture, and nothing does that better than our farmer owners, whose milk is used to produce Land O'Lakes dairy products, said Beth Ford, president and CEO of Land O'Lakes, in a statement. Let's see. Founded by a group of Minnesota dairy farmers in 1921. Let's see. Gained some praise in social media, including Minnesota Lieutenant Governor thanking Land O'Lakes for making the important change that Native people are not mascots or logos. We are very much still here. So this is what I kind of think is a little crazy, Tom. All right, North Dakota Representative Ruth Buffalo, who is a Democrat, said of the previous Land O'Lakes logo went hand in hand with human and sex trafficking of our women and girls by depicting Native women as sex objects. All right, I don't know how that depicts them as sex objects, but I think that's a little stretch of the imagination. But okay. So anyway, they've caved to the political correctness, and this is what the new product will look like now. So, all right, moving on. Let's see what we got here. Well, we got some Joe Biden news here. So there's been a lot of talk about Joe Biden and how there's a lot of Democrats that don't want Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee. All right. So it talks about a brokered convention. There's been a lot of them that want Andrew Cuomo to be the nominee. All right. I don't know how that would work out, but like I said, there is a lot of Democrats that would like to see um, Andrew Cuomo as the nominee. My internet is going to stop working again. Where I live in New York, the only option I have is Spectrum Internet, and it's quite horrible. They have these internet troubles every single day. So, majority of Democrats, we can come on. Okay, so this is from April 10th. Let's see. A majority of Democrats want to nominate New York Governor Andrew Cuomo for president instead of Joe Biden, according to poll results shared exclusively with the Post. National poll found 56% of Democrats prefer Cuomo, with 44% wanting to stick with the presumptive nominee Biden, a 12-point margin, well outside the 4.8% margin of error for the Democratic sample. Let's see. Hispanic voters, young people, women, and liberals are most likely to favor dumping the former vice president for Cuomo. Let's see. Cuomo denied last month that he wanted to run for president, but some Democrats still are clamoring for an alternative to Biden, who faded from public view during the coronavirus outbreak, which elevated Cuomo in daily press conferences. Club for Growth Vice President of Communications Joe Kildea, however that's pronounced, told the Post, results highlight Biden's weakness as a candidate. Right? How long have people been saying that? And just now they want something different. You know, they didn't want. Oh, we don't want Biden. So then, does that mean that they didn't want Bernie even more? You know, they had so many other Democrats running for president. You know, there was other options. Um, but so there's also been talk about Joe Biden and who he would pick as his running mate uh, to be his vice president. Um, there's been a lot of talks. He's already said that it wants to be a woman, and he has said in the past that um, he would pick Michelle Obama. All right, so and I could see this ending kind of badly for us. So Joe Biden says he would take Michelle Obama to be his running mate for the 2020 presidential election. The presumptive Democrat presidential nominee told KDKA's John Delano that the former First Lady would be a strong addition as VP if he thought she would accept the nomination. I'd take her in a heartbeat, Biden said on Monday. She's brilliant. She knows the way around. She's a really fine woman. The Obamas are great friends. I don't think she has any desire to live near the White House again, Biden added. Biden did say it's still early in the process of selecting the vice president. In terms of who to pick, we're just beginning the process. Show the name of the committee to review this and begin to look through the backgrounds of the various potential nominees, and that's just getting underway. I could see him picking her because that would almost guarantee a win. Because you're not anybody that votes for Biden, they're not really voting for Biden. You have to be thinking about who the backup is going to be. I think that's really who you'd end up voting for. So there are so many people that are just, so in love with the Obamas no matter what, that I think it would be if he selected her, I think it would pretty much guarantee a victory. Now the downside of that is, you know, I think um, I think if Joe Biden does get the nomination and end up winning, not the nomination, but if he ends up winning, um, I think a case could easily be made that he'd be unfit for president. Okay, so I mean, I know there's a lot of what ifs here, and you say, "Oh boy, it's a conspiracy," blah blah blah. But I could totally see that happening. That people are so in love with the Obamas that he picks her to be his vice president. Him and her win the election. Okay, a little bit down the road, they make the case that he's unfit to be president. They get him removed, president, and then your new president is Michelle Obama. Okay, she finishes out his term. Okay, then she has 2 full terms that she can run. And then after that she runs for president. I could totally you could end up with the Obamas in the White House for another 12 years. That is possible. I think that's something that would not be good. I mean, yeah, there's people from the left. They would totally be in love with that. They would think that's like the best thing since sliced bread. But I think from somebody like if you're looking for the best interest of the people and the best interest of our country, I don't think that's a good idea. All right. So moving on. All right. Trump says he's going to suspend immigration. All right. This is something that I think he should have done way before now. And of course, the lefties, they're losing their crap. They're going nuts. Oh, we got to have these lockdowns, and we can't allow any travel, and nobody can go anywhere. And all right. So Trump's like, okay, we're going to suspend immigration, and then it was like, oh my God, they start losing their minds. Like, oh, this is racist or xenophobic or whatever the hell the trendy word is today. That they like to use. So President Donald Trump said on Monday he will suspend all immigration into the United States temporarily through an executive order in response to the coronavirus outbreak and to protect American jobs. Right? The move, which the Republican president announced on Twitter, effectively achieves a long-term Trump policy goal to curb immigration, making use of the health and economic crisis that has swept the country as a result of the pandemic to do so. The decision drew swift condemnation from some Democrats. Gee, there's a big surprise. Who accused the president of creating a distraction from what they view as a slow and faulty response to the coronavirus. Trump said he was taking the action to protect the U.S. workforce. Millions of Americans are suffering unemployment after companies shed employees amid nationwide lockdowns to stop the contagion. In light of the attack from the invisible enemy, as well as the need to protect the jobs of our great American citizens, we'll be sending an executive order to temporarily suspend the immigration in the United States. The White House has declined to offer any other details. Let's see. I guarantee if you go around and I'm sure the Democrats are everywhere. They're losing their freaking minds over this, going absolutely bonkers. So here's another article. If you hadn't heard, yesterday oil is at an all-time low. I think yesterday it closed out like negative $37 a barrel. All right, so everybody's losing jobs, and things like that. Well, Alexandria OcasioCortez, AOC, celebrates the plunge in crude prices. You absolutely love to see it. She is celebrating the destruction of jobs. Those are people's lives that they feel are coming to an end, and she is celebrating that. So, let's see here. Far left Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was unable to hide her glee over news that crude oil prices plummeted to a historic low on Monday, reacting to the news by tweeting, "You absolutely love to see it." In a reaction to a report that oil prices dropped below zero, crude went in a free fall and bottomed out negative 37.63 a barrel. Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, "You absolutely love to see it. This, along with record low interest rates, means it's the right time for a worker-led mass investment in green infrastructure to save our planet." Cough. This tweet has since been deleted. The Democrat Socialist New York deleted the post within minutes, as critics pointed out the fact that she was celebrating market turmoil and the possibility of further job losses, while more than 22 million Americans are already out of work due to the coronavirus. Of course, she doesn't care about that. Ocasio-Cortez did not acknowledge that she took down the post, but adjusted her messaging with a new response, further reiterating her view that the news means an opportunity for climate initiatives such as her Green New Deal. So, let's see. Twitter users made it clear to the lawmaker that her initial tweet would not be forgotten, with several posting screenshots of the original message. That's awesome. Let's see. Snapshots being acknowledged, blah, blah, blah. Deleting your tweet celebrating the loss of American jobs doesn't make us forget. Try to contain your excitement while families lose everything. Yeah. But, typical Democrat. I mean, that's typical for her. Not surprised in the least. Alright, so, last article here. So, the Trump administration seeks ban on China Telecom in U.S., citing unacceptable national security risks. Okay, I think this is smart. I think this is something that they should have done long ago. Departments of Justice, along with other federal agencies, have requested that the FCC terminate China Telecom's authorization to operate in the U.S. They want China Telecom's license to carry out international telecommunications services to and from the U.S. to be revoked. One of their concerns is that the state-owned company is vulnerable to exploitation, influence, and control by the Chinese government. All right, number of U.S. executive agencies. Commission Telegate. Let's see. China Telecom. Unacceptable national security risks. Let's see. The security of our government, professional communications, as well as of our most private data. Depends on our use of trusted partners from nations that share our values. Today's actions. Next step in ensuring the integrity of American telecommunications systems. This is something else that I think should have been done long ago. But I'm sure somewhere a Democrat will have a problem with it. So, as you can see, one more thing here at the top, you can see breaking news. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un recently had surgery, could be incapacitated, U.S. officials say. I've seen a lot of that going around. A lot of these articles, some of the articles I read said that it's rumor. It's that it is hard to verify any of that. They said North Korea is kind of a black hole when it comes to intelligence on those kinds of things. But I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for it, keep watching out for it. So this is all I have for today. I'll be posting some articles on my Facebook page later. So keep an eye out for those. Like, comment, encourage you to subscribe. Um, as you can see, I kind of go over some things that you might not hear other places. You might hear other places. Um, let's try to show people what's really going on with different things. I'm not really going to talk about the coronavirus death toll. I've gone over that a few times. They're not real numbers. Um, I've established that in my previous videos. Um, they are came out and said, why they're wrong numbers, and like, oh, this is the number. Everybody's like, oh, okay, I believe it, blah blah blah. So if you want to look into that, take a look at my previous videos, and you'll see why those numbers are incorrect. But I'm not going to keep giving an update because they're not, the numbers aren't right. So, but so that's it for today. Stay safe, have a good day, and thanks for watching.